I was going 55 miles an hour, I wasn't speeding, and I was just in a skid and hit the guy head on. It was a old pickup truck with a 65-year-old man in it, and he was killed instantly. But it was such a violent collision, I was knocked out. The next thing I remember was being about 40 feet up in the air, like I was hovering. It was completely quiet, silent. I was looking down. I could see the grass blowing. It was a cold winter day. I could see things moving around below me. But it was very calm and very peaceful. And it was just like I was hovering there. Seemed like for quite a while. And then the next thing I remembered, I was in the back of the ambulance, and they were giving me a shot of morphine. I guess that kind of woke me up or whatever. And I was on the way to the hospital. I had just really, to that point, just took everything for granted. Just like I assumed that, next day I'm going to get up out of bed and go do this and that. But after that point, I realized, it might not happen. So you better make the best of what you got left, because it could end. And so it kind of made me, it really focused me in a lot, I think. The way I see it is sculpting, a lot of it is how you make your decisions. So you're constantly faced with decisions, and the ones that work are the ones you made a lot of good decisions on. The ones that end up in the scrap pile are ones you made bad decisions, and then hopefully you learn as you're going along on what made that a bad decision or what made it a good decision. I read somewhere that there's, like, if you do something for 10,000 hours, at the very least you're going to be pretty good at it, and you might get lucky and be really great at it. And so I figure I'm just going down that path of putting hours in it, and as long as I'm having fun, I don't see any reason to change. And it's the most challenging, hard thing that I do, and so it keeps me, I've never once got bored doing it, so as long as I don't get bored. There was times after the wreck, I was just kind of like, well, what's the point? Why should I do art if I could just walk out my door and die the next day? What's the point? I'll just have some collection of art sitting there. What does it matter, And then I slowly begin to realize that, well, what matters is the fact that it's what I like doing and what makes me happy, and I get a lot out of it. And part of doing the wood and using those planks is what's fun to me is I'll think about, okay, this came originally from some big, nice, majestic tree growing out in the woods, and who knows what its path has been till I get it. And when I get it, my idea is like, well, I'll give it one last little shot of beauty out there. I'll make a sculpture out of it when it might have just been buried up in some house or on a floor, or who knows what happened to it, And so it's kind of fun to think of giving that wood a second life when it otherwise would have ended up in a landfill or a dump or something. A lot of it's coming down to figuring out, can you live with what you've done, and can you accept what you've done, and was that putting your best effort out there? If I ever find myself being too pessimistic, I always just remind myself, man, I've got it really good, I could have died in that wreck, or 1,000 other things could have happened where I wasn't able to be in this situation. So I always, if I ever get down in the dumps about anything, I always just remind myself, man, I'm really lucky to be where I'm at.